Um, I'm going to try to do a little bit deeper decode on this the Queen's death in Madonna's jump video. Okay, there's a lot more to this than what I was talking about in my previous video. There's a lot more to the actual decode, and it involves this thing here. Let me click on it. It involves this chart here, this table. Okay. I'm going to let you be the judge of whether you think this thing all fits together very nicely or not. I think it does fit together extremely well. This is my sort of standard version of this thing, and if you're new to the channel and you don't know what this is, this is, I think I've got an explanation video of this thing. It's called the chart. I can't remember what I called it now. The chart that predicts everything. I don't know, something like that. I'll try and put a thing in the description, a link to it. Okay, that explains what this is. But basically, this is Fibonacci type numbers. So they're all these numbers encode the golden ratio, and they're all balancing numbers. Okay, so we can pull out of this table, some meaning behind the numbers that we find, especially in like gematria and stuff. We can cross-reference back to this table, and if we know that this is like the centered balance point, this is where ideally, all roads lead back to this point, which is kind of divine balance, right, between our physical being and the physical world, and the metaphysical side of reality as well, the spiritual side of reality. Okay, so when we find certain numbers as we're decoding stuff, I think this table helps to kind of explain, some of those, some of the meaning behind those numbers, if you like. Okay, without getting too bogged down with this table straight away, what I want to do now is go from this, and I want to look at the scene in Madonna. I want to just talk about it for a minute in the jump video from Madonna, right? And then we'll go to paint, where I have that table, and we can do some scribbling. Okay, so this is really the first part of that, what I would call this is the initial part of the Queen decode. Okay, he's already jumped off a wall that has a crown on it. We've got lots of references to 111 and 222 throughout the video, and what I will say is the 111 reference, of course, is the Queen's birthday, and the way they've got the ones written here, as I explained in my last video, is those ones. Let me see if I can just make this big for a second without it playing. Okay, the way they've got these figures here drawn, this is forming the figure 1, and the figure 1 is laying down. Okay, and there's 3 of them, even though this corner's peeling off here. So there's 3 ones laying down. Okay, as in the 3 towers laying down, right? Now, this is important where this is, right? Because this is gonna be re-referenced in the next like shot. Okay, so I gotta play just a tiny little bit, but we have to remember that these 3 ones are here. The Queen's birthday is right here. Okay, and this also references another 3 ones, but we'll come on to that in just 1 second. Okay, what I've got going on here, finally got to the spot. What I've got going on here is we have this line here that is linking us back to those 3 ones. Okay, while I've got this kind of big and I've got it in the right spot, I want to make a note of where this is occurring in the video. That first shot that I just looked at was 128 as well. This is still on 128. Okay, and I'm going to show you what 128 is here in a minute as well. But what we have is, of course, here's the Queen, the Q, and it's a ghost. Okay, so the Queen is dead here. Okay, she's become a ghost. Okay, and this line here is linking us back to that 1 1 1. Okay, so we have a a beginning and an end. Okay, so the beginning is over here, the 1 1 1, her birthday, and we come across and here's the end. Okay, that's the end. Now this is where this gets a little bit really interesting, because we're going to go to the chart and I'm going to show you how this fits into the chart. But I'm going to also mention a couple more things. There's this, what I think now, I mean, I looked at it before and I couldn't make my mind up whether it said lock or look, luck or lock. And luck obviously is, that gives us a reference back to the numbers in our chart, which our main number line in our chart is Lucas numbers. Okay, and I'll show you that in just a second as well, but this is the end. Okay, so what it's saying is, that chart, okay, it's basically Lucas numbers is the main line that's in that chart. It's the main sort of number line that's in there. That's our main sort of balancing number line. Okay, so that's the most important part to that chart, and I think this luck is referencing the chart. Okay, and the end part here is referencing when the queen is going to be ended, if you like, when her end is. Okay, and so we'll go to what these I think mean in a minute. Okay, but you have to bear in mind that these are here. Okay, and we've got a whole bunch of what looks like gobbledygook, but this will become apparent what this is here in a minute as well. So let me get out of this a second, and let's go to and of course I hope you can still see this, because I'm just going to leave it in this format now. But again, you can go to this video, bring this stuff up and cross-reference it with what I'm looking at here. You can get a better look at it. But let's go to Paint now. So what I've done in Paint is I want to show you, let me get a different color on here now. Let's do something that's, what I want to do is I want to show you right now is that where we start, this is this line right here. Hopefully you can see that. Okay, the line that is in that previous image, right, that's linking us back to the 111 that is on the wall. Okay, and then to the little ghost queen. Okay, that's the line. I've drawn it in here. Okay, it's somewhere right about here. Okay, so I've drawn it in the chart. So we're transposing, I guess, that those bits and bobs that were in the music video, yeah, these bits and bobs now, this line here, and we're going to put some of this other stuff in, and this little image here, we're putting this into the chart. Okay, so you can see how it kind of relates to one another, right? So there's the line. Okay, and it is linking us back to, okay, 1 a 1 and a 1 here. Okay, those 3 1s are right here. Okay, so this is like the the center point of the chart. Again, right here is actually the center point of the chart. Okay, but there's our 3 1s, and if we follow that line down, where we're going to get to is in the chart itself, is the bottom of this 8 column is 86. Okay, and the total for that whole column is 222. Okay, 222. Now this 86, as I've said in previous videos, is reflected here in the start of the physical column with the 68, and is also reflected here with the 89 in the 11 column. Okay, and so this is very easy to just flip around, and we end up with the 86, the 89 that we need for the Queen's death day. Okay, So that 6 there will just flip to a 9, and we'll have the 8th of September, right? Just right here in this little ghost figure. Okay, and then what we also have in the ghost figure is 222. Okay, 222 of course is 2022. So we have, just with that line coming from the 3 ones, you know, and we've put it in the same orientation as it is in the video, yeah. And he's just jumped from that previous scene where it's on the wall there, and we've put the line in just the same orientation as we need it in the chart, and this figure sits right over the top of it sits right over the top of the 86 and the 222. Okay, now it gets better than this, right? If you think that's kind of mind-boggling right there, get this, right? Let's look at the other numbers that are on the way back to this this 111 right here, okay? And the numbers we've got that are surrounding this thing, okay? And I'm going to pick the numbers we want, pretty much, because we've got a 6 here, we've got a 3 and a 7, and we've got an 18, okay? Those sort of numbers there are coming back right from there. Let's go and look at the line that is here, okay? We've got a 6. There's our 60, our 6 right there. Hopefully you can see the end of my cursor. Here's our 3, and we've got this stuff in between the 3 and the 6 here, which could possibly, you could possibly get a 7 from that, okay? Right? I'm kind of like this. If this had just been a little bit longer, it would have been a bit better, because it would have been a much better 7, but that's something you'd have to look at. But we've got the 6, we've got the 3, and then this number here, it kind of looked, to me originally, I looked at it and I thought, you know, what they've done here is they've taken and made an 8 and put a 9 in with it as well, which would work for the 8-9 of the death date. But what also is interesting is it's almost like an 8 with a number 1 right here. Okay, so we've got the 6 of the 60, we've got the 3 and the 7 just about, and we've got the 8 and the 1 of 18. All right here, you know, just above this line here. Okay, and when we go back to the chart, I can just do this correctly. When we go back to the chart, look what I got. Look at this stuff. That to me is just absolutely nuts. You know, just this first line coming down here in the Queen, you know, we put the little ghost figure over the top of these numbers here, you know, where it is in the video. That to me is already nuts. But then to be able to pick out this 6, the 3, just about the 7, and the 8 and the 1 is absolutely insane. All I can think is that the people that are doing these videos have some kind of chart like this. That's all I can think. Either that, or it's completely a completely random thing, but it's put there by God. You know, I honestly don't know. Again, I explained in the previous video about us removing this, what looks like the devil's pitchfork. If you can just about see the end of my cursor, there's a fork in here, and which happens to appear on his hoodie, which is then he jumps down and then he jumps away again with that fork. So we can sort of remove that fork, and we'll end up with a 1, 1, and then a 4 here as well. So we get that 114, the number of days left in the year, from the 8th of September. Okay, and so I also want to address what these things are here, I think, now. Okay, when we look down here, there's some stuff that's very light in color. Okay, it's almost like it's been very faintly put in there. Okay, there's a couple of things, like I think this could be the Queen's hair over here, and this looks like a little crown right here, maybe. I'm not sure about that stuff, and I'm not 100% sure about these numbers here that seem to be a repeat of the same number, and there seems to be a sort of figure 8 thing going on here, and then it's a 1 2 0 0. Okay, is what my best guess is on those. So we've got a 12 going on here and here, 12. So what this would tell me is this is the 12 column. So what I want to do is I want to come across here, but when I come across here, I want to use this piece of pavement over here as my parallel line. And so when I come across, I'm kind of following, across in a parallel line. If this is 1 1 1 right here, the center of the whole thing, I'm going to follow a straight line, if you can follow my cursor, and it's going to end up in between these two things here. Okay, so but what I'm going to do is I'm going to now go back to the thing, and we can have a look. See, if I'm doing a straight line from the center of there, okay, what I end up doing is I end up coming across like this, okay, and let me go back to it just so I can. When we're coming across, okay, we are coming. This thing is above that line, okay. I want to point that out, right? This is the. So I think what this is a reference to. Let me show you the date. Hang on. Let's just do these one at a time. So what's going on is we're coming across here, okay. Essentially, let me just draw it in just across the top of these. Oh, almost managed to go in a straight line. Okay. Okay, and so what we've got is somewhere above the top of there, okay, we've got that luck end here, it's written here. And then, so that's again the 8-9, right? That's the death date. And then we've got the 12 column here, because that was that, it was the 2 double O's, oh my goodness, 1200. That was on what was faintly written, okay, on the thing, and it was going up and down, and we were below the line on that one, okay, and below the line on that one, okay, is 411, which is our 114 days left in the year. Okay, let me show you, go back to the thing so that we can kind of clear that up. Okay, so if my line was coming across, follow my cursor, if my line was coming here, my green line was coming through here, okay, this was the 12th column here, yeah, and we were below the line here, and we were above the line here, okay, below the line and above the line, okay, and we're coming through on the 199, okay. So I believe, that those are the two dates. The date that is again referenced with the luck end, okay. This is Lucas numbers right here, this middle line, okay. So this is the lucky numbers, okay, and her end, I think that's just a reference to the whole chart, the luck, okay. But that's the line that we're coming off. We put the Lucas number line in, and we're coming up from it to find an end date, and we're coming down from it here to find the other one. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. I don't think I've got anything else on this. I can't remember if I mentioned this all takes place at 128, and I've got it in the gematria. Let me show you. If we add God and Queen together, so the Queen going to God, okay, our reverse is 128. Yeah, God is 26, the Queen is 62. They're reverses, okay, and you add those two together, we get the 88. We know how important that is. But in reverse, we've got the 128, and they've picked 128. They've picked 128. Actually, let's go to the actual thing. They picked 128 as at the point at which they want to show us this thing. Okay, so again, I think that's important as well. And of course, I've explained the hoodie and the hoodies reference here, I think, in the previous video, but very quickly, I think this is just the Who Dies, HOODYS. We'll just split that apart, and this says Who Dies. The other thing this is referencing is this guy's hoodie itself, because this mark is on the hoodie. Okay, the I keep calling it the devil's. I just call it a trident. Okay, because I think it references really the Holy Trinity, three paths coming together. Yeah, three different entities coming together as being balanced. Right, so that thing though is going to leave the queen behind here. Okay, and when you're left, when it leaves the queen behind, the 114 comes back out of that. Anything else to say about this? I'm not sure about this gear up in the top corner here. I haven't really, and then we've got this stuff over here as well that's very, very faint. I think it would take an awfully good copy of this video. It may be possible to pull more stuff out of this. I'm not sure. But anyway, yeah, I think that's really, it's pretty interesting. The only other thing I'd say is that this crown here would end up being, I don't know if that you could use that as the symbol of the burial, because didn't the crown sit on top of the coffin, which would have been 199 right here in the table. I'm pretty sure that sits right below. This is the 11 column here, and so this would have been this crown that would have sat on top of the coffin here. Would have been 199 right here. So I don't know if that's kind of reaching quite a lot there, I think, and it's such a faint crown that who really knows. But anyway, I think that's pretty much it. It was just going to be a short one. I really wanted to show you how that fit in with the table. Very, very weird. Extremely weird, actually. It seems like to me they have whoever's writing this, whoever's doing this music video, has a copy of something very, very similar to what I've come up with here. It has to be. It has to be. I can't imagine for 1 minute that is completely random. But anyway, let me know what you think in the comments. Interesting to hear some feedback on this one for sure. Anyway, hope you enjoyed, and I will catch you on the next one. Right, cheers, bye.